All right, everybody, it's Nine Finger Chronicles time. Once again, I'm your host, Dan Johnson, and I feel like there's been cloudy days for, I don't even know, weeks and weeks and weeks. Our family's been sick. My youngest son, he's actually downstairs 2 days home from school now with a fever, but the sun is shining. And when the sun is shining, I don't know about you, but I feel a little bit more juiced up and ready to go. So I'm happy that the sun is shining here in Iowa. Today's guest, Mr. Caleb Andes. How we doing, dude?
Good, good. It's a nice sunny day in Iowa. I feel you there, Dan. And I've had sick kids all week too, but everyone's happy and healthy today. It's Friday. Couldn't ask for anything better.
There you go. There you go. All right, let's start off the old-fashioned way. Caleb, where do you live and what do you do for a living?
Yep. So I live in eastern Iowa. Was born and raised here in the area. Went to school at Iowa. Dan, I know you're a
Hawks fan?
Hawkeye
Yep.
wrestling fan. I had some
Yep.
buddies that went to Iowa State and wrestled. They told me I should wear one of their shirts to give you trouble, but I refrained from that here today. So, yep. And I actually work at a manufacturing facility here in eastern Iowa, but really passion on the side is all things hunting. So,
Yeah. Okay. Let's talk manufacturing. What do you
yeah.
manufacture?
Yeah. So I work at the deer facility in East Moline,
Oh,
Illinois.
nice.
I'm an engineer.
Okay.
So,
You're an engineer. I love it. So you're what they call a company man, right?
yeah. Yep.
Yep. Yep. My father-in-law worked for John Deere for 25 years in Waterloo, Iowa.
Okay.
And this son of a bitch, I'll tell you this. And then I say that in the best way possible. John Deere went through ups and downs, just like all companies do, right? Back in I don't even know how long it's been, 20 years now. He got a retirement buyout package at 55 years old. And
Yeah.
he'd been working there since he was like 25, I think. Yeah,
Yeah.
25. That puts 25 years in or something like that. And he said, I'll take it. And he retired at 55 years old, and he still gets the benefits and the pension and all that stuff. He was a union man, but still, that John Deere offers some good packages, man.
Yeah. Yep. It's a good company to work for. Proud to work for them. So.
Yeah. So what do you engineer? What part of the tractor or
Yep. So
the?
we're in the combine factory. So my team of engineers actually in material flow. So engineering solutions to get parts through our process and to the production lines as efficiently as possible.
There you go, like a process engineer of sorts.
Yep. Yep.
Yeah, I was a process engineer as well before in my last job. And so I didn't have anything to do with parts. It was process. So it was like with the software, it would be like I wrote the instructions. So it was
Okay.
step 1, do this, step 2, do this. And then I would go through the programs. I would find I'm sure with John Deere, and you are, what's that? Six Sigma, or is that what it's
Yep.
called? I forget.
Yep. Black belt.
Yeah, white belt or black belt or whatever, and you're certified in lean manufacturing principles. And so, I had to go find the Muda, right?
Yep.
You know what Muda is, right? The waste. And
Yep.
and so it was cool to go through. Like I had another factory job where I had to be for fireplaces, and they were really heavy into like 5S and all of that stuff, which
Oh yeah.
is funny because I use 5S on how to find and locate big bucks or
Yep.
how to get better at deer hunting. So for those of you who are listening, go check out what 5Y is, and then go check out how you can use that to go kill deer. I think
Yeah.
I think there's some crossover there.
I would say selfishly, a lot of the training that I've taken in my real job has applied well to the deer hunting woods and trying to crack the code and hunt down a big buck. So
There you
I
go.
feel you there.
There you go. All right. So combines, but you also, you like all things outdoors, but you also have a couple side gigs that you do. What are those?
Yep. Yeah. So I run the Process Outdoors. So
Mhm.
essentially we'll call it a media company where we edit footage for literally anyone. And the goal is to help people preserve those memories, right? Call it a digital trophy
Mhm.
for them. And also invest in land down in southern Iowa. So
Gotcha.
buying farms and working on the farms, and then reselling them, buying other farms.
Oh, gotcha. So you're like a house flipper, but for land.
Yep. Yeah.
Gotcha. Okay. Do you focus when you flip a farm? Do you focus on like the habitat improvement specifically for deer hunting, or are there other things that go into flipping a farm
Yeah.
other than making there be an opportunity for a bigger buck?
Yeah, it's really the niche is for deer hunting. So
Yeah.
really what you look for is what could this farm be and what is it now?
Mhm.
Never would I buy a packaged farm that's already got, tower blinds on it and food plots
Yeah.
all set up. The ideal farm is cattle pasture with some timber on it, and the cattle pasture's got good soil, and we can cash rent some of it. We can plant food plots and really build it into a better habitat for wildlife, which is something
Mhm.
I'm just generally passionate about.
Yep.
And ultimately leave it better than what you found it.
Yeah. Okay. Perfect. Perfect. All right. How long do you hold on to a piece of property? Or like, this is interesting to me because you're not the only guy I know who does this kind of
Yep.
stuff. How long do you hold on to a piece of property, or how do you set the plan for a piece of property? How do you find the piece of property? All that stuff to make it worthwhile for you. I mean, it's a business, so
Yep.
you're trying to make a profit off of it. How do you know, like, what's the goal there? How do
Yeah.
you find it and put a plan together?
Yeah. This bodes well from your previous podcast. I think with Iowa Land, you guys kind of got into this as well. It The ROI needs to be there for the
Mhm.
property. And the biggest thing that tears away your ROI is the interest payments that you make on it. I'm not
Mhm.
at the point where I'm buying farms outright at this point, right? So you're taking out a loan for it, and the goal is flip it as soon as possible because that burns through the interest. So you get the farm, you get to work. And the biggest thing with a farm though is showcasing what it has on it and
Mhm.
what it's capable of. So that does take a little bit of time. I think historically we've turned over farms in everywhere from 366 days to leverage capital gains to 2 years. Right
Yeah.
now we're on a farm right now that we've had for a little bit longer, but we've sold off a chunk of it to drive some profitability there.
Yeah. What are some of the big things that you do to a farm once you buy it that help you, that increase the value of it to the point where it's worth your while to sell it?
Build ROI, I think is the biggest one. And that's where you always look for good soil. And like I said, you find like a cattle pasture, an open field that's nothing's going on it. Well, you can look on like your beacon site or get the information on what the soil quality is actually
Mhm.
under that field. And there's always someone looking to cash rent a farm. So it kind of twofold. You can build ROI and earn revenue through that, and
Yeah.
it's also good for the deer habitat.
Yeah. So do you do any type of habitat improvement work on these pieces? And like, you guys go in, you plant the food plot, and you're looking for someone who wants to buy the finished package, right?
Yep.
Deer
Yeah,
farm.
that's the goal.
Gotcha. Okay. Man, I tell you what, this especially in Iowa, well, it doesn't just affect Iowa, but the CRP thing that's going on, and right now they're not taking any, according to my dad who's going through a habitat project, they're not taking any new bids for
Really,
CRP right now.
I hadn't heard that.
So, yeah, so right now there's 155,000 acres up for renewal in the state of Iowa that aren't getting renewed right now
Oh wow.
because the government is not taking any applications at this moment.
Yeah.
So, nobody really knows what's going to happen with the CRP program, with the conservation efforts of the administration or whatever is going on.
Right.
But that sucks for Iowa
For sure.
because that's in another 155 thousand acres of habitat for pheasants,
Right.
turkeys, deer that is being lost.
Yeah.
And
That's
so that's crazy. And I think Iowa as a whole has 1.6 million acres of CRP, and we're already complaining about the loss of habitat in certain parts of the state, and how deer hunting isn't as good as what it was. And now you take away that that much more habitat throughout the state, it just starts to snowball,
yeah.
and it just has the potential to keep getting worse and worse.
For sure. Yeah, I
Yeah.
love deer. I love CRP for deer habitat, right? Because you can position your food plots for, depending on the program, 10% of the total field. You can plant a food plot
Yep.
on that, and it's excellent cover, and you still get the benefit of the ROI and the cover for the deer.
Yep.
So that's
Absolutely.
rough. I
Yeah.
would love to see the pheasant population come back too.
Yeah.
We got 2 German short hairs that are dying to see some birds.
Yeah. So my dad's got an 80. He took it out of half of it. He split it in half. There's a creek, a dry creek that, and this is it up in northern Iowa. And there's a dry creek that separates the farm into two. It's an 80. It's a square 80. Separates the farm. And he took half of it out of production and put it into CRP. And he says right now on that farm, there are more pheasants than he's ever seen
Oh yeah.
on his property. And of course, he is the only habitat other than like some river bottom ground, but it's cattle pasture and ag all the way to it.
Right.
There's tree lines and stuff, but
Yeah.
still, right? And so he's like, it's pretty cool to see the habitat improvement work
Right.
and work in a very short period of time.
Yep. Yeah, that's one of the big improvements we're going to do this year. We got a 12-acre ag field that we've always had. We're going to convert it to grasses, regardless of CRP or not, and do some food plots in strategic locations, and really want to see the pheasant come back in that area.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Because at one point, we were number one, even above South Dakota. And so that would be cool to, I don't know how that would happen, but they say that, what is it? Since 1965, and this is a long period of time, but at one point they said that a mile wide strip along the entire state of Iowa, but a mile wide, let's just say from the median in Interstate 80 from Davenport to Omaha, a mile wide, that is the amount of habitat that they have figured pheasants have lost throughout the course of that time frame. And that's a lot of that's a lot of ground.
All starts with habitat.
Yeah. Exactly.
That's wild.
All right. Before we get into the rest of the episode, I do want to take a second here to thank the partners of this podcast. If you're looking for in my opinion, one of the best broadheads on the market, and Caleb, I'm trying to do this thing where I get people excited about shooting 125 grain broadheads and tell people no more 100 grain broadheads. I want everybody to shoot 125 grain broadhead. I don't know why. That's my message for 2026 is go 125. 125. And so Wasp Archery, most of their heads are still manufactured in the United States. They have mechanicals, they have fixed blades, everything you want. Go check out wasparchery.com, discount code NFC20. Vortex Optics, they are the cream of the crop, and they are a brand that just keeps showing you why they're the cream of the crop through awesome products, awesome people, and a badass VIP warranty. Go check it out, vortexoptics.com. Code Blue Scents, real and synthetic deer urines, the mock scrape kit, the scent elimination products, laundry detergents, body washes, all that stuff, helping you stay scent free or getting deer to come closer to you, closer to your location. And go check out codebluescents.com, discount code NFC20 for 20% off. Reveal trail cameras. If you are looking for a trail camera where the ease of use is, just a matter of minutes it takes to set up a cellular trail camera, download the app, scan the QR code, you got a fully functioning trail camera. Go to tacticam.com/cameras, check out the brand new Ultra, and check out the functionality of that camera. Badass. Last but not least, my company, Full Sneak Gear. If you are looking for a t-shirt that has a deer on it, then you should go buy a t-shirt from Full Sneak Gear. All right, that's it. That's all I got to say about that. All right, Caleb. One of the reasons you kind of reached out to me is you have a feeling or had some thoughts about hunting potentially going in the wrong direction. Is that accurate?
Yeah.
Okay. Explain that.
Yeah, I think the media, the amount of attention around big deer only, all the social media bashing when somebody's shooting a deer that doesn't live up to someone else's standards is detrimental to the sport.
Yeah.
Really is the biggest thing. I've hunted my entire life, and I've seen it progress and change throughout the years. I remember, being a lot younger, and that pressure to only shoot big deer, or
Mhm.
being afraid to share something that you're proud of on social media, and in fear of being shamed. That
Mhm.
used to not be there. I think
Mhm.
that's kind of changed, and it's a little bit disappointing, with today's culture, I guess, in
Yeah.
hunting.
Yeah. Do you see that firsthand a lot?
On social media, yeah,
Yeah.
I would say that I'm linked into a really good group of friends where we all aspire to shoot big deer every year. Who
Mhm.
doesn't? But
Yeah.
when that doesn't happen, and a different size animal is shot, everyone's happy for each other. That's the type of people I want to surround myself with, and would
Right.
just love to see more of that.
Yeah. Here's something that I've noticed in the last, actually, probably 3 or 4 months, and that is what things go viral on what platform, and what things, for example, anytime, and this is just the example, but I've seen it happen another way. Facebook tends to be more negative and is all about bashing people,
Mhm.
where Instagram is more, in my opinion, what I've seen. Yes, there's some negative comments that squeak through, but a majority of Instagram, which is a younger generation, seems to be more uplifting and congratulatory than Facebook, which is an older demographic. And
Yeah,
so I look at that and I go, holy shit, like this older generation, I mean, my age and older, 40, which would be, I'm guessing the demographic is probably 40 and up for Facebook,
yep,
and 40 and lower for Instagram. I don't know anything about TikTok too much, but
yeah. I'm out on that.
the comments on Instagram are very positive. Meanwhile, the comments on Facebook tend to be way more negative.
Yeah,
I don't know. Have you noticed anything like that?
yeah.
Yeah,
I choose to not even click into the comments half the time, three quarters
yeah,
of the time in Facebook, because you know what you're gonna get.
right, right. It's crazy. Like, I made a comment about, and again, this is, it's a conversation that really riles people up. But on like I made the a comment about crossbows, right?
Yep.
Facebook went viral, over 100,000 views and things like that, and like I want to say 6,000 comments, and they were all like, well, I should be able to do whatever I want. Like, you're
Yeah.
stupid. It's called a crossbow. Like, it's archery, whatever. And then on Instagram, the same thing is like, I agree, dude. Like, so it's pretty interesting how there's this, I don't know, like discrepancy between the two platforms
Right.
and who likes what. And I'm guessing it has to do with age.
I would think so. Yeah. Yeah, and that's what I want to try and encourage and support, right? I'm a huge advocate for getting kids in the outdoors. I
Mhm.
got 3 kids myself, and I've taken several other kids in the outdoors, for a variety of reasons, including trapping and fishing,
Yeah.
and getting them off screens, I think is
Yeah.
a huge
100%.
opportunity. So,
Yeah, dude, every time, like, so I'll be on a screen and I'll run into something about how you shouldn't be on screens, right?
yeah,
And so I'll follow the trail and I'll go to YouTube, and some of the research that they are finding right now about screen time for kids 10 years and under is, it's like rotting their brain and their thought capacity. It
I believe
blows
it.
my mind. It blows
They
my mind.
literally they
It's like
literally just
poison.
melt. Yeah.
Yeah.
They just
Yeah.
melt in front of those screens.
And so I'm an asshole at home about screen time. Like, how
Oh,
long have
yeah.
you been on it? Okay, done. Right. And then
Yep.
it's done. You gotta take it away. And then they go through a stage where it's like they wake back up, and
Yep.
then they'll go play Legos or cards or a game of like a board game or a I don't know, tower. We have this tower game, and it's pretty fun to do that. And you
Right.
see them learning, and you see them using their decision-making skills and things like that. So
For sure. I think so much of that's been lost. Our kids don't get to use screens except for
yeah,
watching sports on TV during the week. And if
yeah,
they are complaining, go outside. I
yeah.
don't care if you are playing baseball and you break someone's window, or you play tackle football and break your arm. Go out, get outside. Let's
That's
go.
old school.
Yeah.
That's old
Yeah.
school, dog.
Kids need
Yep,
more of that for
yep,
sure.
absolutely. Okay, so the negative comments is one thing, but comments don't the comments are comments. There's always some asshole, even back in the day when there were coffee shops and people used to, there's always somebody complaining about that. But there's more to that than just comments on Instagram and shaming on Instagram, right? Because at the end of the day, I don't know about you, but if I post a picture and I post a picture of a buck, and this year I shot, like, I would say the smallest antlered size buck I've shot in the last 10 years.
But were you happy to shoot it?
I was happy to shoot it. Absolutely. And
Oh,
really,
no.
that's all that matters.
Yep.
But I'm
100%.
old enough and secure enough to not give a fuck if some guy's like, you should have let him walk, like
Right.
anything, like, I don't give a shit. Right.
But that fear is ruining younger hunters from having great experiences in the woods.
Yes. Yes. And why do you think that is? Is it because we are so connected to social media that they
Yeah.
feel like it's part of them and they have to do it?
I think it's just what social media has spread, and you could say this about all kinds of other facets of the world we live in today. It's just the availability of information
Mm-hmm.
that's out there today is
Yeah.
everyone, it influences people. That's why they call them YouTube influencers, right?
Yeah.
Everyone is influenced by all this constant communication, and then you throw pictures into the conversation, and it
Yeah.
just multiplies it.
Yeah. But it's just the comments, right? Like, I don't see anybody who is trying to be an influencer, and maybe I'm not looking hard enough, but I'm not seeing anybody with a like pretty much a podcast. Maybe and I don't. I'll be completely honest. I don't consume a ton of hunting content. I make a lot, but I don't consume a ton of it. But I'm not seeing the people who are spreading the message are the ones doing the hating. Like, I see just the people in the comment sections are the ones who are being the haters, right?
Yep.
They're the ones. Do you see platforms or podcasts or other people doing the hating?
No, I think anyone with a platform big enough to, come across my feed or be an actual business are
Mhm.
respectable, we'll say stewards of the sport.
Yeah,
And I don't think that they have that in them, right? It's the trolls and the comments that
right.
you get most of that from.
Yeah, yep. And at the end of the day, it's so stupid. Like, I used to find myself at times where I would I would have a long rebuttal, so angry, typed out and ready to go, and then I would have to take a deep breath and then just
Yep.
delete it, right? Like
Yep.
like where I'm just like, "Hey, fuck you, dude," like, and just roasting this guy and then hit delete and not
Felt
respond
good
at
to
all.
type it out though, didn't it? Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely. Because what happens is you post that, and then the snowball
There
happens.
forever.
Yep,
Yep.
it's
That's
the
the
snowball
problem.
happens. And then when you run for politics, somebody will come in and be like, "Yeah, you said this 25
yeah.
years ago on Facebook." Yeah. Yeah.
Dan Johnson, future governor of Iowa.
Yeah, right. I don't know about that. Not with my record. Um, okay. So other than the social media part of it, do you see any other issues within the hunting space, or whether that's the community or the industry, that is leading us down a bad road?
I don't necessarily think a bad road. There's many ways to skin the cat. I think
Mhm.
that one thing I would say is a lot of people get caught up in trying to buy their way into achieving their goals in the
Mhm.
woods. Would love to see some good old fashioned woodsmanship be brought back to the table.
Mhm.
And the marketing of all the products is so good, and I'm ingrained into the hunting world, and so you see all of that.
Yeah.
You gotta kind of stop and check yourself when you're looking at that, saying, "Oh, I want that. Is that really
Yeah.
gonna put a big deer or a deer that I want to shoot in front of me?"
Yeah.
Probably not, 9 times out of 10. And I actually when I went to school at Iowa, I worked at Shields there in Coralville. I was in
Okay.
the archery area, and I kind of saw that progression happen. Right, it's like a new product would come out, everyone came in because they needed to have it. It's like that's really not gonna get that big deer in front of you or get a deer in front of you. It's a nice to have. Why are
Yeah.
we spending money on it, right?
Right.
So,
And this is that I talked a little bit about this on a previous episode. And I think this whole thing started around the time trail cameras started to become more
oh yeah,
popular, right?
yep,
And so I'm looking at how old I am, and I was able to hunt several years, from when I started all the way up until I was in my mid 20s. I didn't use trail cameras at all. I would go in, look at sign. I really honed some woodsmanship skills in that time. And then I started to slowly integrate like one trail camera or and they weren't even good. They didn't
yeah,
provide really any
oh yeah,
information until the SD card trail cameras came about, right?
yep,
And so when they came about, that kind of changed the game on what I was actually seeing out there. But I had a period of time to learn woodsmanship, how access routes, got busted a ton and really honed my woodsmanship skills.
yeah,
Now we have this introduction of all this technology. My gut is me that tells me that this younger generation who are maybe 10 years or 15 years younger than me, they have only used trail cameras. And if you started hunting 10 years ago, you might have only used cell cameras too,
yep.
right? And so there is something definitely, there's a gap there. There's a knowledge gap. And I'll tell you this, cell cams do not and will never, ever, ever trump woodsmanship, ever.
100%. I agree. They look at such a small portion of the woods,
Mm-hmm.
and if you're relying on what they're telling you to go and hunt, I think that's the
Yeah.
wrong approach for sure.
Yeah.
What
And
they can tell you and where they are important, in my opinion, is I know that this deer exists,
exactly.
and I can see that it is a crappy day out there weather-wise, but for some reason the deer are moving. This deer was around within the week. It'd probably be a good time to be in the woods and hunt over
Yeah.
the sign that I know exists.
Yeah, exactly. And the predictive deer movement, especially for a younger guy who's like, I don't know what I'm doing.
Right.
Right. And I don't like, I putting an age on it. I don't want to say younger. I want to say newer hunter because
Yep.
I know guys who didn't start bow hunting until they were 35, 36 years old, whatever. And so the newer hunter sees this and they rely on some kind of predictive deer movement app. And they're just like, oh, dude, it's saying not to go today. Well,
Right.
I should probably not go. I don't want to ruin it. I think that's bananas, by the way.
Yep.
If you're relying 100% on those types of things, you shouldn't. And I know some of those are, some of them are probably more accurate than others, but man, 2026, you know what I want to do? I want to get everybody excited about 125 grain broadheads, but I also want to get people fired up and let's call 2026 the year of boots on the ground.
There you go. Your woodsmanship.
Yeah, the year of
Yeah.
let's get back to woodsmanship.
I like
And I was lucky because I was a bum back in the day. And all I did for like from 30 or from 25 to 31 before I got married was hunt, scout, and that's it.
Yep. Yeah.
So
I was
don't
the
know.
same way. I did a ton of hunting in college and coming out of college and learned all of my lessons through failures, I guess you
Yeah.
would say. So
Yeah. Back in the day, however, I moved to the area 12 years ago, all right, close to the University of Iowa. And getting access now is extremely hard, especially if you live in within an hour of a city center of sorts like Des Moines or Iowa City, Cedar Rapids, or anywhere
Yep.
really. Why do you think it's becoming harder? Like, what are the layers involved of why it's so hard to get access on permission anymore?
It's a good question. I don't really have a good answer for you. We've had farms we've hunted for a long time, and I own a farm specifically down in southern Iowa. I'm not a door knocking type of guy. I know that
Yeah.
that used to be a big thing, and a lot of people have success from that.
Mhm.
It could be just maybe the socialization of hunting and more hunters being willing to go out there and snag that access, or
Yeah.
people being more guarded with their property, given, if someone gets hurt on my property, that stuff's more socialized, that someone could
Yeah.
sue you.
Yeah.
One of the places that we hunt, we give him a 30-pack of beer a year, and he lets us
Yeah.
hunt on the farm because he knows us, he knows our family, and he feels comfortable with us, and we're an easy excuse for anyone that comes through and asks him for money to hunt. So
Yeah. Yeah. That's awesome. I mean, that's awesome that there's still the 30-pack guy out
right,
there
he
where all you
exists.
gotta yeah, he exists somewhere, right?
Yeah.
But that guy's harder to find
Yep.
because a lot of the times, I mean, I run into this all the time where it's, yes, we still own it, but the parents have moved into town, and it just the kids are in charge, and everybody's got friends that hunt now, especially in
Yep.
southern Iowa, dude. People from northern Iowa flood down to
Oh yeah.
southern Iowa the best time of the year. So it's not just non-residents, it's other
Right.
Iowa residents, because that there's only the deer hunting north of 80 is not as good. I mean, take Alameda County or
Yep. Yep.
northeast Iowa out of the equation, but it's like in the ag country, it's not near as good. So everybody comes down, and
For sure.
so it's even getting
Yep.
harder for locals to find spots to hunt.
Yep. Could be part of habitat loss too, right?
Yeah,
There's probably not as much ground to hunt, especially
yeah,
around the cities, right? You look at what Iowa City looked like
oh yeah,
25 years ago compared to what it looks like now.
yeah, yeah. It's pretty cool. I ran into a picture I think it was taken in 2005 or six, and I was just out of college, and I was at a bar in North Liberty. In North Liberty, north of Iowa City, used to be a very small town with not even really a main street. And now it's solid houses and
Yeah.
industry all the way from Iowa City up into there. And I can remember seeing giant deer running
Yep.
around in that area. And now it's all it's all
Yep.
warehouses and businesses and industrial parks and things like that. And it's just like, it's crazy how much of that habitat is getting eaten up by just, I guess you would call, human expansion.
Right. Yep. Yeah, I agree. We see the same thing in the area where I live here in the Quad Cities. It's like you talk to some of my buddies' dads, and they're like, "Yeah, I literally trapped over there and
Hmm.
fed my family for a couple years when I was your age.
Yep.
Now it's like in the middle of the city."
Yeah, exactly. It's, it just, and it gets me worried. Right. And I was having a conversation just on a normal phone call today with a guy I know. And I'm just like, I don't even care about me anymore. I don't
Yep.
care about, I mean, I hunted in the glory days, right? Where there were giant deer everywhere, right? And I knew I was going to run in, if I played my cards right, I knew I was going to run into something special, something
Right.
that was mountable, a great buck. I mean, I was seeing 25 deer a night, like all of that stuff. That's not happening anymore, but I don't care about that. I
Right.
got a 10-year-old son now who is excited about deer hunting and excited about finding and turkey hunting and being outside and doing that stuff. But I don't know what's going to happen in the next 15 years when he
Yeah.
turns 25. What is the landscape going to look like for hunting? Is it going to be 100% pay to play? I mean, it
Possibly.
seems like
Yeah.
it's going down that road.
Yep. And I think that's what hunting's turning into.
Mm-hmm.
Unfortunately, you got money, and people are going to pay for it. We've proven that time and time again, right? Some of the
Yeah.
money that people are paying to maintain their properties and to buy properties is just outstanding.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. So, and you doing what you're doing with flipping these farms, you probably see that firsthand.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Yep, definitely. There's been huge changes in farm prices over the past 7 or 8 years.
Yeah.
COVID being the biggest time frame that just blew all the farms out of the market. I think you were talking about that on your last podcast. That the farm prices damn near tripled during that time
Yep.
per acre.
Yep.
It's wild.
And do you ever, because you're in the business of making a farm better and then reselling it, do you ever see land prices receding? I don't want to say going back down because they'll never go back down, but do you see them receding a little bit?
I don't think so. I
No.
think the only way they become more affordable for people is whatever interest rates do.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, you can you can go to like Iowa State's website, and they have all the past land data for average price per acre throughout Iowa and different counties and everything, and it's always been a steady incline for the past 40, 50 years.
Yeah.
The big spike happened in COVID. I think that was inflated because
Yeah.
of that whole situation, and it's plateaued since for the most part, in my opinion. And I would think if it would ever go down, it would have been over the last couple of years after COVID, but it hasn't. The only
Yeah.
thing that's holding it back from going up, in my opinion, is still the high interest rates.
Yeah. And so what happens if the interest rates go down, right? Then let's say the interest rates go down and people probably refinance their farms for a
Yep.
lower interest rate, but don't necessarily, do lower interest rates mean that more properties get sold? I know recently Iowa had a change where non-residents can no longer use the party hunt loophole.
Yep.
So I'm wondering if that throws a wrench into or like affects the land
hmm
prices or interest rates or the availability of farms in the state.
Yeah. Good question. I don't know the answer to that. I'm not tied into I'd say the real estate companies that get all the data.
Yeah.
I think the biggest influential factor that's going to get farms to be selling and people start buying again is just their ability to pull it off financially. And that's if interest rates go lower, more people are going to be in the market to buy, and that's going to
Yeah.
entice more people to sell. Because if someone's selling their recreational farm, they're not selling it to get out of the game, right? The ball starts rolling. They sell their
Yeah.
farm, they roll it into another, et cetera, et cetera.
Yeah. So I feel like the interest rates go down, that's great for the loan. But if there's, um, I feel like the price per acre will go up if that happens. And then it's, depends on how much, how much land is available in certain areas, right? And how
Yep.
much recreational ground is, yeah. Dude, I tell you this, I talked about it before, but dude, I feel like every time I feel like I have enough money to go do something and even start small, the prices go up and I don't have enough money for a down payment or,
Yep.
like something happens, like life happens. And so I don't know, it's a goal of mine, but it just seems to be like getting further and further out of hand,
Yep.
like further away. The dream seems to get further away from me the older I get.
Yeah. Yeah. I think the hardest part of hunting right now is finding the land
Yeah.
to hunt and having the access and being able to hunt it whenever you want and not having hey, you can bow hunt it and a shotgun cruise and it come through and mow everything down.
Yeah.
During the Orange Army here in Iowa,
Yep.
uh, that's definitely the hardest thing. I think one misconception though is people think that they need to own a farm to have fun hunting and be successful hunting. Even a smaller parcel, you can be very successful in if you play your cards right.
Yeah. And smaller parcels are great. There's no management on smaller parcels. I mean, unless you are in like some kind of co-op with
Yeah.
your friends or whatever. But yeah, dude, it's I don't want it to sound all negative because it's still not, but like deer numbers going in weird directions. Like the big antlered bucks are going away, which I don't give a shit anymore. I would rather have opportunity for more hunters than I would for big antlers for less hunters.
Yep.
Because I mean, I can't talk about any state other than Iowa,
Yeah. Same here.
right?
I've
And
hunted out only Iowa my whole life.
right. And so I just know that there's people quitting every season, even in the state of Iowa, because they're losing access. Residents are losing access. And
Yep.
there's 1,000 different options, like reasons for that. Right. So, um, I don't know. I don't know. Good vibes,
Yep.
right? We got to
It's
send the good
tough.
vibes out.
Yep.
Right.
No, I hear you.
All right. But I do want to talk about this really cool thing that you're doing where you, it's a YouTube page, right?
Yep.
Now?
Yeah, I have a channel.
It's a YouTube channel, but it's not just like you, right? So
Yeah.
like people who go out and record their hunts are looking for a place to store it, or
Yeah.
they're looking for someone to turn all of their footage into like a story,
Yep.
or what? Explain what you're doing.
Yeah. If I could package it into a term, I would say that I can help somebody create a digital trophy, right? Hey, I've noticed a ton of people, starting with my friends, right? Ton of people film their hunts
Mhm.
because uh, they want to rewatch the footage, they want to relive the experience, but not a lot of people have the editing capabilities to turn it into a story,
Yep.
right? To be able to relive that memory, which I think is wildly important, um, and just awesome in general. Uh, and so what I can do is essentially edit the footage for them and send them the video back so that they can have that forever, and then also ask if, hey, you want to be on YouTube, we can put it on our channel, and that can be the platform in which you can always come back to it or share with friends and family, et cetera, et cetera.
Yeah.
So
How many people do you work with in a given year? And is it just Iowa, or is it across like the whole country?
yeah, I would say quantity is not that huge yet. I
Yeah.
would say I've worked with probably 50 or 60 different people, and I've done everything from, hey, we went on this moose hunt as a special trip. My sister want to give it to her Christmas present, or a realtor needs some help in Tennessee because he took a bunch of footage of this guy's hunting farm and he's not a hunter and he wants me to turn it into something meaningful for to sell it as a recreational farm. I
Mhm.
can put those stories together. I'm an avid hunter. I can see a pile of footage and understand what story that they want to tell through talking with them and put that together.
Okay. And then, so I almost feel like back at, like, instead of like my grandparents, they just have, or my grandma, when she passed away, had stacks and folders of just, I don't know what you would call them, photo, man, whatever this
Photo
thing.
albums.
Yeah, photo albums. Can't believe I didn't know that. Photo albums. Just stacks of them throughout 60 years, from Polaroids to, like her getting married, her kids getting married, the first picture of me. I'm
Yep.
the oldest grandson in that, in that family, in both families. And then like the first Polaroid of me, and then they switched to different types of cameras and the fashion and all that stuff.
Oh yeah. Yep.
And a lot of people will take that in and get it digitized, I guess. So
Yep.
scan the picture, and then that comes with a hard drive.
Yep.
But what you're doing is you're not providing the hard drive; you're providing a link
The,
that
the
they can share with people.
yeah, the
Yeah.
product, right? Turn it into something more than just a 30-minute clip of them running around or something, right? Build it
Yeah.
into a story. And I've been editing footage for the past 15 years, I'd say.
Yeah.
So can add some cinematic flair to it. But and I'll do anything, right? I've edited people's hunting season worth of cell phone footage out of their tree,
Oh,
big deer
nice.
walking by, right? You don't need to be a professional cinematographer and take amazing footage to put a cool story together that you want to share with your buddies, right?
Yeah.
It's the biggest thing. And I've also gone through the experience of taking old mini DV tapes and digitizing them and making them into videos as well.
Yeah.
Uh, so
Those, back in the day, I bought my first camera, and those mini
oh yeah.
DV8 I think DV8 or whatever they were, the little
Yep.
VC, man, what? They're like
They're
VCR tapes, mini
they're
VCR tape.
mini DVs. That's how I got my start. Actually, funny story. When I went to Iowa, my buddy and I wanted to get into filming hunts because we thought we were going to be big superstars someday. Have since wisened up, but
Yeah.
we were obviously broke. We ended up buying it's like a Canon XHA1 camera off eBay for $1,500, and we didn't have any
Yeah.
money, so we sold plasma for a couple months to pay for it.
I love it.
Yeah.
My camera, the one that I bought, was the version previous to that, the Canon previous to that.
Okay.
I sold it a long time ago, but there was the Canon and the Sony. There was two cameras that were extremely popular back in the
Yep.
day, but they all took tape. And
Yep.
then you had to put it in and run it from the tape into the computer so you
Yep.
could edit it on God, what
Like iMovie or whatever.
yeah, or Final
Yep.
Cut Pro.
Yep.
That's what
Yep.
we use, and things like that. And so, and then you go through and you put in the transitions, and edit the audio and maybe add some
Yep.
music and stuff into it. So yeah, I remember those days, man.
Yeah. I
I
still got a
remember that.
pile of tapes laying around. It's
Yeah.
expensive to digitize them though,
Oh yeah.
unfortunately. Yeah.
Yeah. I had a buddy who did that all, and then he sent it all to me at no charge. It was very
Nice.
nice. Very nice. So I got a hard drive since 2007 of like every once in a while I'll go out
Yeah.
and I'll pop it, I'll connect it to my computer and pull it up, and holy cow, like looking
Old
at
school.
a kid who's 20 years younger, like
Yeah.
just
Full of
I had
hopes
no,
and dreams.
yeah, full of hopes and dreams and ready to crush big bucks and passing deer I should have shot, all of that stuff. So, dude, and that's where I like that, because just like a mount, or just like these sheds I have hanging up on the wall here, really what it comes down to it is it's like a memory,
Oh
so
yeah.
that when my legs no longer work, I'm 80 years old and I can't function anymore, and I got this, I could probably still tell you where I found every one of those sheds, the wind direction for every one of the bucks that I've killed, all of that stuff, and it's like living, it's
Oh yeah.
artwork but a living memory.
Oh yeah. And
Yeah.
I've seen that time and time again. My two youngest are boys and they absolutely love hunting. They're 10 and 8, and my youngest, my 8-year-old, just shot his first buck this year, and
Nice.
we filmed the whole thing, and we ended up shooting him on like a 0-degree day or something. It was a pretty sweet hunt. The deer was at like 12 yards when he shot him, but made a video out of that, and he just won't stop rewatching it, and that's going to be something that he's going to have forever,
Yeah.
right? Is that memory of his first deer. And same with my older boy. He's got plenty of turkey hunts and a couple deer hunts on our channel as well. They love watching them, and we can always go back to them. And I even find myself going back to some of my hunts and others as well over time.
Yep.
It,
Absolutely.
that's what it's all about. It's not about building fame or anything like that, and that's what I wish people would get more back to. You talk to someone like Grandpa, if they're still alive, right? It's the deer camp, it's the stories, it's the tradition and the friendship that you build in the woods. That's the stuff that really needs to start coming back.
Yeah, 100%. Absolutely. And that's something that I'm intrigued in, because as a bow hunter, I've never I've done a couple, like I used to be a part a very long time ago of a very small uh gun hunting group in like the
Hmm.
first season, did some deer drives and stuff like that, and then I got really into bow hunting at that point, and I just didn't it wasn't that
Yep.
fun for me to go on deer drives. I'd rather spend my time doing other things. But long story short, it was like, I don't know, the
Yeah.
memories, man.
Oh
The
yeah,
memories and how much fun it was, and things like that. And I think that gets lost sometimes.
for sure. And that's what I got that going on now. We have place down in southern Iowa that I hunt, and I have buddies that have places as well. And so that's like my favorite week of the year. We all take our vacations and go down there, stay in the same place, and have deer camp. We all go our separate ways to hunt during the day, but then come back together at night. It's a blast.
Amen. Amen. Well, Caleb, man, I really appreciate you taking time out of your day to hop on and BS with me a little bit about a
Absolutely.
variety of different topics, and just kind of a good old fashioned BS session that we had today. And I appreciate your time, man.
Absolutely. Thank you. Appreciate you having me on.